It is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Carissimo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you understand the technical side of the real estate industry. And what we're talking about today is a very common question that we get, and it's, should I quit my job to start in real estate? When should I quit my job? Do I need to quit my job to start real estate? And that's really the question we're really going to focus on today. Is that necessary? Do you need to quit your job to be able to work in real estate? Can you work in real estate part-time? This all ties into this together, so we've got a really great show for you today. I'm John Carissimo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and you're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Carissimo. This is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here 12 noon every Wednesday. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that little bell icon so every time we go live, you get a notification, because what we're talking about today is something that's going to help you start a real estate career, and it's the question, do I need to quit my job, or should I? Should I quit my job? And that question right there, well, just to answer this really quickly, for those of you guys that don't have time to watch the entire episode today, the answer is no. You should not quit your job, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do real estate. So really what we're focusing on today is how to make that transition. How to transition from what you're currently doing right now into real estate. Or maybe you don't want to go fully 100% into real estate, but you're just looking to do it on the side, and you're wondering if that's even a possibility. Can you do it with your current job? Do you have to quit your current job? And the answer is no. You don't have to quit your current job, and really, no, you shouldn't quit your current job. What we're going to talk about is, again, building out this transition plan so you've got the steps so you'll know for sure. You'll know when it's time. You don't have to go find a video on YouTube or Facebook or on our Success Center or whatever to really weigh your options and figure out why it is. And really, there's benefits to maintaining your current employment while you're transitioning into real estate. The number one, so if we just talk about the benefits of maintaining your current job, it's the stability. You start anything new, and really if you're taking one thing and replacing it with another thing, you're taking away that stability in that transition. So that's really benefit number one. We're going to talk about how to really turn this from having the stability by keeping your current job to really making your real estate business stable, so that way you can make that transition if that is what you're choosing to do. So number one, that's a huge benefit there, is stability. Number two is your connections. So what connections do you have in your current employment? You know, we get a lot of people that are maybe school teachers, and let's use that for example, school teachers. Let's say you're a school teacher, and maybe you don't even want to give up. Maybe you love teaching. There's a lot of people that just love to teach. I myself, one of them. So maybe you love what you do, and you don't want to replace that, but you want to supplement it. Because especially if you're in the public school system, especially here in Florida, I mean, it's no secret that you guys aren't paid a ton of money. I mean, unless maybe you've been teaching for a certain period of time, the rumor goes that there's not a ton of money out there. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing in life, because we need that. We need teachers in schools that are helping people get educated. But at the same time, you need to take care of yourself. So the question, can you do what you're doing? Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a first responder, a firefighter, police officer, sheriff, maybe you're active duty in the military, whatever it might be, and you love what you do, and you want to also supplement this in real estate. Well, one of the things you could take advantage of once you have your real estate license is the connections that you have. Who are those coworkers? Who are those people that you have that are a potential lead? That's really what all these connections are. These are potential leads. And that's something that you don't want to walk away from until you've got these all solidified, until you know that if your ultimate goal, so let's switch and let's say your goal is to leave what you're doing because you want to actually practice real estate full-time, 100% all in. You want to make sure that you're not walking away from all these connections. You don't want to burn those bridges, as they say, because you burn those bridges, you leave your past behind and you're starting over, you're starting from nothing. And that's a lot more difficult when you've already built up a network. So you've got to make sure that this is solidified, that you're not walking away from these people, that every person is that you've worked with is going to remember who you are, and that you do real estate now. Because again, you don't want to walk away from them because they're potential leads. They all need places to live as well. They might be wanting to sell their home. They might be wanting to move. They might to upgrade, to downsize, whatever the case may be. But you don't want to walk away from those connections. Now looking at these, okay, stability and connections, those are really two of the huge benefits to maintaining your current employment while you're transitioning into real estate. But let's talk about some of the downsides, the things, the risk, I should say, that you'll need to manage. Well, number one, it's going to get harder than what you're doing currently. Now, even if you were to replace real estate from what you're currently doing, again, you're basically starting over. You're having to relearn a bunch of new stuff, which you might have much greater opportunities available, but you're starting from the beginning. And you're going to be doing that here, but now, again, if you're taking advantage of the stability that you have of supplementing what you're doing before you transition fully 100% into it, you maintain that stability, but you're now having to add in. And that might be the question that you have. Maybe that question is, can I work both? Can I have both jobs? Can I do what I'm currently doing? And can I also add real estate to the mix? Can I keep doing what I'm doing, and can I add real estate to the mix? And the answer is yes. So what do you want to do to really manage? Because we're not going to write the risk up here, because if you focus on what those risks and issues are, you're not going to get them solved. You want to focus on the solutions. Don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution to the problem. So thing you've got to focus on is time management. That's going to be huge if you're trying to juggle both of these simultaneously. Especially if you've got a family, especially if you've got kids, it's doable, it's possible, but you've got to be an expert in time management to make sure, okay, whenever it is that I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I'm using my time to the fullest potential. Maybe your lunch break from your current job, you're using that time on your lunch break to manage your real estate business. So really what that comes back to you is, yeah, you're not getting any break, but imagine how much further you're going to be than the people around you that are just, focused on their peanut butter and jelly sandwich or whatever it is that they're having for lunch, and they're not doing anything other than just kind of chilling out and relaxing. The whole law of inertia. There's that law of inertia that says an object in motion does what? It stays in motion. And an object at rest stays at rest. So you want to ask yourself that question, are you in motion or are you at rest? Are you going to continue to be in motion, or are you going to continue to be at rest? And so when you take that rest break, taking that step away to rest, it takes you that much longer to get back into the swing of things. So rather than, just kind of easing off, go 100% nonstop and then take that break, then take your rest. At the end of the day, once you've gone through, maybe you start your day before you go to work and you work on your real estate business a little bit, or maybe that's just working on your real estate course a little bit if you're doing the online course, whatever the case may be. Whatever aspect of bringing this in, again, you've got to manage that and fit that into your schedule. You've got to figure out, okay, how can I do this and make this work? So maybe right before you go to work, you work on it a little bit. Maybe not a whole lot. Maybe it's only like a half hour that you're spending. But if you could commit a half hour every morning, that might not seem like a lot. But ask yourself, can you have a half hour? Maybe in the morning, maybe while you're taking lunch, maybe after work. And really asking that question, when are you going to be most productive? Maybe at the end of the day, you're burnt out and you don't have anything left to give. That happens. That's okay. Then how about you do it in the morning? Or maybe you're not a morning person, and so then the evening or burning the midnight oil, as we say. But even if you could carve out a half hour every day, it's the consistency. And that's the other thing that goes right along with this. then you've got to make sure you're managing your time well and that you're being consistent, especially when you're trying to juggle this. Now, this is important whether you're doing real estate on its own or you're doing real estate in conjunction with something else. These are two very important skills to really become a master at. Is number one, managing your time to make sure your time is being used the most effective way possible, and then number two, being consistent with it. Because if you spend a half hour one day and then you take a bunch of days off, then you spend a half hour another day, and that's what you did for the week, what are you at? Well, you're just at an hour. Or maybe even if you spent an hour one day or 2 hours one day and then like an hour another day, you might end up with, like 2 or 3 hours, which is better than nothing. But if you spend a half hour every single day, 7 days, again, the consistency. Because remember, an object at rest stays at rest. So your weekends, you don't want to, just kind of sit back. I would turn up the gas on the weekends rather than just spending a half hour on the weekends. Because if we did a half hour a day for 7 days, that's 3.5 hours in a week. But let's say during the week, Monday through Friday, let's say you've got a Monday through Friday job and you're just squeezing in a half hour every morning to work on your business. And then on the weekends, you tack on an hour. So you've got a half hour every day, Monday through Friday, that's 2.5 hours. Then another hour on Saturday, now you're at 3.5 hours. And another hour on Sunday, now you're at 4.5 hours. But it's the consistency, because what's going to happen is you're going to start getting excited about what you're doing. You're going to start to see progress when you're working at it every single day. Slowly but surely, you'll start to see that progress, and you work on it every single day. You're not going to want to spend just a half hour on it. It's going to turn into 45 minutes, into an hour, to where you might be spending your entire Saturday, your entire Sunday, or both your entire Saturday and your entire Sunday, not because you have to, but because you want to. Maybe what you're doing right now, you really enjoy doing it and you do want to do it. Or maybe where you're at right now, you're doing it because you have to do it, not because you want to do it. And that's really refreshing when you can make that change of, hey, it's not that I have to go to work, it's I get to go to work. I get to practice real estate. I get to have this fun career where I get to help people, and I get to go out and look at properties and show properties and deal with people and negotiate deals and do new things every single day. And maybe that excites you. Chances are it will, especially once you start doing it, and especially when you start seeing some progress, but you're not going to get that progress without the consistency. So those are really the things it is that you've got to keep in check, that you're managing your time well and that you're being consistent. That's going to be really the challenge when you're working full-time something else, which is, again, great because that's going to give you the stability. And also utilizing those connections, the people that you have. How can you bring up real estate into conversation is what you're doing with what you're doing day to day? Maybe talking with a coworker about something real estate related. Maybe one of your customers even. Be careful, make sure you don't lose your job, you don't lose that stability, you don't lose these connections. But maybe you're even talking to customers about real estate. Maybe you give them your card, say, yeah, I've got my real estate license. I do real estate on the weekends. Give me a call. We'll go look at some houses. Just start doing something real estate. Do something. But be consistent and be persistent. That's really number 3 I want to stick up here. So the question is, will I be successful in real estate? And the answer is yes. But the longer answer is yes, eventually. And that eventually, that's not a specific time frame. That's not a specific number of days or number of months or number of years. It depends on what you're doing, on what information that you're operating on if you're doing the right things and if you're doing that consistently and persistently. But ultimately, I can tell you one thing that's always true: you will find success. It's just a matter of time. How long that is up to you. Any training that you're doing, any actions that you're taking are taking that time and shortening it. And that's the beauty of real estate. There's no specific set quota that, the most you can make in real estate is X amount of dollars. That does not exist. There is no ceiling that's out there. The only ceiling you have is yourself. And that's really powerful, and that's why once you start to, again, see some progress, you're really going to get motivated, and you're going to want to double down on what it is that you're doing. But to get to that point where you do start seeing progress, number 1, you've got to manage your time. You've got to carve out that time wherever it is you could find it, but do it consistently. Make it something that you could do every single day, turn it into a habit, and then be persistent. Because it's not just being consistent over the short term. It's not like, oh, just for a week I've got to do this. No, it's every single day that you're doing this, that you're being persistent until you achieve that success. And the more time you put into this, that's going to speed this up as well. More time is absolutely. And if you're just doing real estate part-time, again, that's 100% possible. That's 100% doable. And that's how we usually recommend that agents start out. So that way you can take advantage of the stability that you have. You can take advantage of the connections that you have. But now, again, you're adding a challenge because you don't have your full focus on real estate. Because you've got this current career, your current job, whatever it is that you're doing, taking away from what you could do. And eventually you're going to get to that point where it's no longer a question of, should I quit my job? You're going to know it's time. Because you're going to know, okay, well, I've already got stability in real estate. And I've already got the connections. I don't really need this career anymore. And you might not ever get to that point. There might be a position that you're in where the connections, the networking, the potential that you have there, the ability to grow yourself, to develop, to learn, and so on and so forth, you might not ever want to walk away from that. And that's understandable as well, but that doesn't mean that you can't do real estate. You absolutely can. There's a lot of agents that just work part-time in real estate that do achieve success. They're usually not as successful as the average full-time agent, but there are exceptions to the rule where there's part-time agents that are more successful than full-time agents. Again, there's no specific mold that you're having to fit into. There's no ceiling. There's no limit. There are rules. I don't want to say that there's no rules because there's rules of things you can and can't do. But as far as how much you're going to work, I mean, you're not worried about going into overtime. You're already working overtime doing all of this here. You're really building a business. And this really is going to give you some purpose of things it is that you could work for to make what you're doing in your day life really benefit your goals so much more. You know, maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's your parents. Who knows? Maybe it's your kids you want to take care of. Maybe it's your parents that you're taking care of. Maybe you just got a dog or a cat. Or maybe it's just yourself or your spouse or your significant other that you want to do this for them. And that's the drive behind this. But now this is the method. This is what you're doing to ultimately achieve that dream, whatever that dream might be, whether that's to travel, for financial freedom, for the unlimited income potential, whatever the case may be. But again, getting back to today's question of should I quit my job, the answer for the most part is no. Really, the question is, at what point do I have to quit my job? At what point do I have more potential from real estate that I don't necessarily have from what I'm currently doing? When is it obvious that, yeah, this is no longer a good fit for me? It was a good run. It gave me stability to start my real estate career. It gave me connections. I don't regret it, but you know what? I'm ready to go all in. I'm ready to jump into the deep end. And really at this point now, you're not jumping into the deep end of a pool. So imagine a swimming pool. Imagine you've got a swimming pool here. And so for the most part with swimming pools, they're not just all deep end like that. They look like this. Here's our swimming pool. To some degree, there might be steps or something like that. And if you're just trying to replace what you're currently doing with real estate, it's doable. I don't want to tell you it's not doable because it is doable, but keep in mind, these are the things that you're maybe walking away from. Maybe you've already got stability. Maybe you already have a great savings account with 6 months, a year, maybe multiple years of income available, so you don't have to worry about the stability because you've got that taken care of. And maybe the connections, maybe you don't have any connections at your current job. I would argue that and say you probably do, but maybe you've got connections outside of it, or maybe those connections aren't tied to your employment at where you're currently at right now. Maybe you already have a great network because you're great friends, great buddies, great whatever with these people already, and it doesn't matter whether you work there or not, you're still going to have that connection to them. That might be where maybe you do want to just walk away from what you're doing and you could jump into the deep end. But what happens if you don't know how to swim when you're in the deep end? You either figure it out or you're drowned. So that's really the equivalent of, okay, getting in there. Now, maybe you've been taking some swimming lessons and you know how to swim already, so you're okay jumping into the deep end. But when you're just starting real estate part-time, it's like you're walking in from the shallow end. And you're getting in here and you're like, okay, water's fine. And you start getting into the deep end, and by the time you get out to the deep end, you already know how to swim. And you already realize, okay, it's time for me to go into the deep end of the pool. So you don't have to just make that plunge. I mean, you might be looking at this of, okay, I'm maybe thinking about starting real estate, and you're thinking, do I want to make the plunge? There's no plunge. This is just a step into the water. You taking a course to get your real estate license is just a step in the water. It's not going to make your employer fire you. It's not going to make you lose this. You'll still have this. And even if you leave and then you come back, chances are that company would probably take you back with open arms. So the answer is no. You don't have to quit your job to practice real estate. You could work part-time in real estate. Whatever this might be, maybe it's not real estate that you're doing. Maybe there's some sort of entrepreneurial venture. And I can't speak to every entrepreneurial venture that's out there, but real estate specifically, you could absolutely do this in your spare time. And that's how most agents typically start in the real estate business. Now, again, you've got to make sure you stay on top of your time management. You've got to make sure that you're being consistent, and you've got to make sure you're being persistent. But if you could stay on top of these things, you're going to shorten that time span it takes for you to achieve the success you're desiring in real estate. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but stick with us. I'm John Christmer. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Christman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that little bell icon so you get notifications whenever it is that we go live so you don't miss out on any of this information. And today's topic, what we're covering today, is should I start part-time in real estate? Or really, that's what we've been talking about. Really, the title of today's show, do I have to quit my job? Should I quit my job to practice real estate? And the answer is no, you don't have to quit your job. And really, you shouldn't until you've got these two things figured out where you know you could walk away from that stability, that you've got enough stability in place. And I'm talking about money in a savings account. I'm talking about something you could fall back on when you're hitting some bumps and some obstacles. Any business that you start, you're going to have obstacles. Anything it is that you're starting. You start a new job, what's looked at as one of the most stable things that are out there. What happens when that company goes out of business? It might not happen, but what if it did? Then where are you at? Not so stable now. So you get this illusion that it's a stable type of thing, but is it really? What about inflation? What about what's going on with your money and your financial, your fiscal policy? You know, we talk about the United States and their fiscal policy or whatever a country's fiscal policy might be, but look at your fiscal, your money situation and where is that at now? Are you keeping up to where you're increasing yourself? Or are you just running yourself maybe more into debt? And look, it's understandable because until you figure things out, that's what's going to happen. That you're going to end up, you've got a choice to make. That you either push yourself further into debt or you cut back, but sometimes you can't cut back any further and you're already struggling to make ends meet. And so imagine you've got a car. You probably have a car. And let's imagine this car takes gas. Your car probably does take gas. And if it's not, you could just imagine what goes in the batteries. The energy in the batteries is your gas. But let's imagine you've got a car and you've got a full tank of gas. Can you drive forever? No. Eventually, that gas is going to run out in the car. And what do you do when the gas runs out in the car? You put more gas in. And so it's not about how much gas you can accumulate, because your tank can only hold so much. And maybe you get some little gas tanks that you're shoving in the trunk so you can fill it up later. But that finite gas will run out. So it's not about making sure that you've got enough gas. It's making sure that you have a constant flow of gas, that you've got a gas station available. You know, the Hurricane Dorian here, when there was more of a scare of it for Florida, and it really wasn't that much of a scare for us here in Tampa, but despite that, there were gas station lines. You were in line to get gas, and gas stations were sold out of gas. What do you do when that happens? And that's going back to when, in a employee type of role as opposed to a business type of role, when you're running a business, you can control, because you're the one controlling that flow of gas. You're the one getting that gas, rather than just relying on somebody else to provide the gas for you. That you're more in control of this, so you're not worried about, oh, well, what if the gas station shuts down? It doesn't matter. I get my own gas. So, and that doesn't really apply as much with gas, but if you think about that in terms of your cash flow and replace the gas with money, there's no sum of money that's going to be enough, but there is flows of money that will at least be enough to cover your expenses, and you'll probably want to increase that further and further. If you've got that drive, if you've got that fire inside of you, you probably want to increase that more. But it's having the flow and being able to control that flow, being able to throttle that flow of money to be bigger, to be smaller, by what you're putting into it. And you don't have control of that in that role where you get the stability, or at least the stability of that consistent paycheck coming in. And look, don't feel like you're singled out if you're in this situation where, you know, you don't have the money saved up. It's like 75-80% of Americans, I don't have the exact figure in front of me, but it's basically like 3/4 of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, regardless of how much money it is that they're making. Now, the people making more money are maybe a little bit lower on that statistic, but even when you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Look at professional athletes and what happens to them when their flow, when they can no longer go to the gas station, when they can no longer fill up. That they get these major multi-million-dollar contracts. And unless you're somebody like Michael Jordan or whoever that has all of these endorsements, then that's where you have these people that make millions of dollars, and then their contracts are up. They're no longer able to perform on the field. And now you see them where they just financial turmoil. And this is a story again and again and again in professional sports, because it's not about having gas in the tank, because that will eventually run out. And it could run out at a faster rate. If you're there stepping on the gas, flooring it, you're going to burn through that quicker. So, you know, you go get the nice car, the nice house, but you're not increasing the flow, and you're not in control of that flow of being able to build your own stability, build a greater stability than what you have right now. That's where that money runs out. So, got a little off topic here, but look, you're starting a business when you're in real estate. Yes, it is a career, but even if you're working like for an owner-developer, so if you've researched this a little bit, you might know the difference between saying working for a broker, or really I should say working under a broker, versus working for an owner-developer. You're working for an owner-developer, you've got some of that stability built in with earning a income, earning a salary. You get some sort of wage plus your commissions when you're licensed. Whereas when you work under a broker, that's more like you're running a business where there isn't guarantees, where you don't have salaries. It's more so where you're building a business and you have to be the one that's building that income, which to start out, I won't lie to you, that's where it's more difficult. And that's why I'm not saying that you should walk away from your job, walk away from what you're currently doing, but rather supplement this. Because if you could pull this off, if you could pull off this juggling act, if you could juggle these two things at once, when you decide to drop this, when you decided to drop what you're currently doing, and now you're just bouncing that real estate ball up and down, you know what you're doing a lot better, and because you already were able to handle both of these things. And then taking these same skills, and now you've just opened up your schedule where you could work on this fully. But again, you'll know when it becomes that time. You don't have to quit your job to start a real estate career, and you will know when you get to that point, if you ever get to that point. Because again, maybe you don't want to walk away from what you're doing, But maybe you do get to that point where you're like, all right, you know what? Don't need this anymore. This is not as much benefit as I could get through real estate. And you're going to find that because with real estate, yes, there's more risk associated than just being an employee. But then if you think about that potential that's out there, this is uncapped potential on the real estate side. There's no limit. There's no law that says you can only make this much money. You make as much money as you can, as you want to. Once you figure out what you're doing and how to do it, then it's just a matter of, okay, how do I scale this even bigger? And how do I take it to that next level? You're in control. You're not sitting around waiting for some sort of raise, waiting for some sort of increase, hoping that minimum wage gets increased to like $15 an hour or whatever it might be. You're not sitting around waiting for that. You're in control of this when you're building your own business. That it's not up to anybody else but yourself. And once you make that shift, I guarantee you no one's going to care about you more than you. Government doesn't care about you more than you. Your employer doesn't care about you more than you. Nobody cares about you more than you. So who should be in charge here? All these other external factors, or should you be in charge? And that's really the whole like entrepreneurship. I mean, a lot of people call that the American dream, that you could do what it is that you want to do. Now again, you don't have to jump into the deep end here. You could start to get a taste of this whole entrepreneurship thing. But again, to be successful doing that, the three things I've got up here: time management, being consistent, and being persistent. You could do those three things, you will achieve success. You're going to do it at a lot faster rate than if you didn't have these three things lined up here. So look, that's about all the time we've got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you're not subscribed, hit that little bell icon so whenever we go live, you get notifications. If you've got questions about starting a real estate career or maybe taking your real estate business to the next level, we've got advisors standing by to help you do just that. Your success is our success. That at Tampa School of Real Estate is how we succeed, by getting you to succeed. And we've done it for thousands of students before. So give us a call and let us do it for you. Our phone number is 813-333-2676, 813-333-2676. You can also check us out online at tampaschool.com. Also check out our Success Center. If, look, you're not sold on this yet, I get it. This is a big decision. This is a big change. But that's why we make it easy for you by giving you so much information so you know what you're doing. Just like today, that you going through this, you should know, do I have to quit my job? And the answer is no. Just in case you didn't get it already, the answer is no. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to quit your job. You don't need to quit your job. You shouldn't quit your job because of the stability and the connections that you could leverage while you work part-time in real estate. And you find that you work that juggling act however it fits to you. Again, we could help you build this out and set you up on that path for success. So again, call us 813-333-2676. Check out our Success Center on our website at tampaschool.com/success. But other than that, that's all the time I've got for you guys today. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you Friday for State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. Or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
We could take back Sunday.
If you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.